In the following days, the search efforts continued, and Daniel's family alongside local volunteers joined in. But despite their best efforts combing through the area, they too came up empty. Attention soon turned to the local criminal Chase Venstra. Both Dylan's mother and his neighbor Jim mentioned a recent encounter between the two, making Chase one of the last people to see Dylan alive. Additionally, Chase already had a history of violent run-ins with the law, including a 10-hour armed standoff with police in 2016, and was well known in the area for all the wrong reasons. Luckily for police, Chase had an active warrant related to domestic violence. It was their perfect chance to bring him in for questioning. But when officers arrived at the house to arrest him, Chase was nowhere to be found, potentially already on the run from police. Officers quickly began searching the town, asking if anyone had seen Chase recently. Locals directed them to the Montello Cowboy Bar, a place known to be frequented by Chase. Following this lead, officers headed to check the bar, where they would soon learn that Dylan and Chase's encounter may have been more dangerous than anyone realized. But before we get to that, it's worth noting that incidents like these are not only traumatic for those directly involved, but that said, let's get back to the officers at Montello Cowboy Bar, where a conversation with the locals was about to reveal how Dylan's encounter with Chase may have turned violent.
We're trying to find a kid named Dylan Rouse.
Oh, I know. We got locals out here looking at him too. So they went out that way because he was out to loose end.
I was hearing Kurt say something about he had a conversation with that Chase kid.
Yeah, that's who I'm looking for. Where do we find him?
I'm kind of worried about it because if Dylan did walk back from where he left the grain truck and Chase got a hold of him vulnerable, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Walking back, something bad could have happened because there was a bad injury with a kid just out here that got his face smashed in by the butt of a gun. And the whole camper shell was all bashed in and stuff.
Where do we find Chase? Is he from here? Does he live here?
Yeah, he does.
He doesn't.
He's from around here. This is where he hangs out.
He was staying out here, and he was the
Where was he staying at?
big thief in town, and so everybody was after him, and they finally told him to get the hell out of town and stay
Of
at
course, he came back because he was just seen out here.
The bar owner's recap only further implicated Chase Venstra, suggesting that a violent confrontation between Chase and Dylan was more likely than ever. But something else caught the officer's attention when one of the bar owners briefly mentioned another recent incident involving Chase. Sensing there might be more to this, the officer decided to pull her aside for a private conversation. At this point, police still considered Dylan's case a missing person, but what the bar owner detailed next would soon shift this case to one of potential homicide.
Why was Chase and him having an issue, do you know?
So Kurt told me, and I was overhearing part of the conversation, saying that Dylan was just driving down the road and Chase stopped him and said, hey, got some water. He was like, hey, do you know Kurt? Da, da, da. And I guess it got in an altercation about that because Chase was like, Kurt's an asshole, da, da, da. And Dylan was like, no, he's not. You know, he's a good guy. I work for, I do work for him, blah, blah, blah. There was an altercation. Then he went on his way. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken the conversation, that was the same day that he drove the grainer over to wherever and then whoever was there couldn't give him a ride back, so he possibly walked. That's all I know about the conversation.
How does the kid getting hit with a butt of a gun, does that figure into this at all?
I can get that. I think there is some, because now we're talking violence.
Yeah.
So this kid let his property go. He stopped making payments on his property because he's so scared. But he woke up to the butt end of a gun into his face. They smashed his camper.
How old was he?
I don't know, 30s. Has a family, has kids. He's out here, bought land out here, so I'm trying to homestead.
He's not out here anymore. Well, imagine.
Nope, he left his property go, he's gone.
With this troubling insight,